Hey folks, I'm Mike. Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/Inkdependence. It keeps this blog ad-free. Hello folks, and welcome to an Inkdependence.com brief video review and water drop test. Today we are looking at this ink. This is Kyo-Iro's Flaming Red of Fushimi. And as you can see, this is an AndersonPens.com sample. Thank you very much to Anderson Pens for sending this out for review. These Kyo-Iro inks are really interesting inks, and this is the red of the bunch. So let's take a look at this on some paper. This is, of course, my normal Rhodia paper. The review is going to be a little bit different because I've messed up the first time. And so I've already done the water drop test, so we'll just look at the results of that and then look at some, like a copious amount of different sorts of reds because I've got a zillion. All right, so here is what that red looks like. And it's a particularly nice red, I think. But just up front, this red did not capture my love. I have a love of red inks, as you know, as a loyal Inkdependence listener and watcher. I love red inks, and I use them all the time. But and this one I've used up quite a bit of. I've gone through a couple of fills in a couple of pens here. Well, one pen, and we'll take a look at that soon. But there's something, I don't know, something a little bit underwhelming about it for me. I really like my reds to be deep and dark, and I'll show you a couple of them, like my favorites. Here in a little bit, but this one doesn't quite get there for me. Now, if you like this shade of red, there should be nothing holding you back from this Kyo-Iro. It is a very cool ink. This is, of course, my 80 grams Rhodia paper. The flow on here is fine. I never had any hard starts with the two pens I used this in. We'll take a look at those in a sec. I never had any problems at all with it, actually. The behavior is very good. Now, there is some bleeding on the 20-pound Staples Bond copy paper, and that's to be expected because I was using a broad stub. So that's not crazy. Shading and sheen? Nah, not really. Now there is a little bit of sheen here that you might be able to catch if I turn it just right. You really can't see it too much because it doesn't show up in any of my actual writing samples, and also they don't shade. So you'll see a little bit of shading here, but this is just a couple of drops I've taken and smooshed around with a letter opener. So you get more coverage there. And then there is a bloop. That happens. All right, so what pens did I have this in? Well, the first pen I put it in was this one, and I've actually had it in this pen since like August. I keep using it in this pen because I actually really like it in here, and if you look through the barrel, you can see there's just a couple of dots left in the converter. I am done with this fill for sure. And this is the Platinum 3776 Shungyo, which is a beautiful cranberry pen. It's super beautiful. You can get your hands on one of these still. I would say do it. I really like the way these feel. They're a little bit lighter, I think, than the regular, like the burgundy and the blue and such that they have, but not as rough as the Nice Pure. The details are very subtle, but I love this. And this is a medium nib, and it's a pretty fine medium because it is that Japanese medium. So I've used that one quite a lot. And then just to see what it was like in a pen that had a lot more ink flow going on, I put it in this. This is a franklin-christoph Model 27, and you can't really get these anymore. They stopped making them a couple of years back. Every once in a while you'll find one on the market, or you'll find one on Franklin-Christoph. They'll find one in the stock room sometimes and be like, oh, let's put this up online. But this is a number 5 nib, so one of their smaller nibs. This is a broad stub by Mike Masayama, and it is a great nib. This is actually my very first Franklin-Christoph pen way back in the day. Not my oldest one, but my first one. All right, so this one puts down a much wider line, as you'll see here. There we go. And as I say here, like, I've got no real complaint about this ink. It's just not capturing me for some reason. But it's probably, there are going to be a bunch of you who are like, this is an amazing ink, and I'm with you. It's cool. It's just not my color. I never had any problems with it flowing. I never had any problems with it starting. I never had any real bleed. You get a little bit of that, and I'll show you here in just a sec, but not much. Nothing bad to say about this ink, really. Let's zoom out just a skosh, and we'll take a look at our copy paper. And heck, I get another couple of papers, because why not? So this is the copy paper sample, and it's obviously this one right here. I did do two Kyo-Iros right next to each other. But as you can see here, there's not really anything going on in terms of feathering, even on this 20-pound paper, which is a little bit dodgy sometimes. But you see a little bit perhaps of spread here, but look, this is a big, wet, broad nib. Well, at least as big as you're going to get on a number 5 nib. So, you know, it works well. Here is the back side of that page, and these are the two lines right here. Now this one you can see there's definitely some bleed through and a good amount of show through. Not that much bleed actually, but a little bit. But again, that's that big wet broad stub. From the much more controlled medium here just nothing comes through the other side. So if you're working on crappy student papers that are using crappy paper, this one will be great. No problem at all. Also, it's a pretty red for your Christmas cards or whatever. If you're not doing holiday cards with holiday looking ink, this is a nice one. All right, so that's on the 20-pound bond. This is a Inky Fingers Currently Inked book, and these things are great. I cannot tell you how many times I've been like, what the hell ink is this in my pen? And I've gone back to look here. In fact, somebody recently asked what ink was in a pen from a video that I taped, I don't know, months ago, back in the beginning of August, I think. They said, hey, what's that blue ink? And I was able to look back and find out what that blue ink was in that pen, which is a really cool thing to be able to do. So I suggest finding these. You can find them on penhabit.com. And this is wheat straw paper. This paper is a little bit, it turns out this paper is a little bit divisive. I love it, but other people don't like it that much. I mean, I bought a case of it. So obviously I like this paper. It's got a little bit more tooth to it than the Rhodia does. But the color here looks actually really, really good. I think it looks better here than it does on Rhodia, just as a comparison. I actually like it on the wheat straw better. All right, so that's that. Well, hi, Scraggles. She wandered in to say hello. And then here it is on Tomoe River. And Tomoe River is very, very thin paper. If you're not familiar with it, you do get some, like, you can see it through the back of the page and all that sort of thing, but no bleeding or anything of that nature. It's great for fountain pens, but it doesn't soak in at all. And so on this one, it ends up looking a little bit more orange than it does anywhere else, which is kind of interesting. And you get a little bit more shading than you do anywhere else because the ink just does not soak into this stuff. So there you go. There it is on Tomoe River. All right. Let's take a look at the water drop right quick. And there it is. You can see that this doesn't have any particular water resistance, although you can totally read this. I did this a few hours ago, and you can definitely read what was there before you got the water on the page. So that's pretty cool. I mean, good job there, Kyo-Iro. You don't get a lot of these water-resistant reds, although I would say the resistance is fairly low, but it's still there. All right. Here's the chromatography. I've been using these longer sheets lately, so you can kind of see the whole thing, but let's just turn it this way so it's a little bit easier. There you go. You can see down here at the bottom where it started, there's just really just a pale pink left. And there's actually more left on the page, I think, than there was on this this chromatography strip, but you get this nice crimson up here at the top. This is a cool fade, but also this ink doesn't have anything in it but red. Man, it is just a red ink, yo. That is what it's doing. So there you go. All right, now let's look at this compared to a bunch of other reds. I've got a whole grip of red inks here, and it's worth checking them out. So here is Kyo-Iro, and here is Kyo-Iro. These are both Flaming Red of Fushimi. There we go, get it in the frame. But these are two different cards. On this side, you have the Mnemosyne word cards, and on this side, you have the coloring cards. If you haven't used coloring cards yet, I would say get some. You can get them from Well Appointed Desk, or you can get them from various vendors on the interwebs, including Anderson Pens and such. And they are really good. I think the color actually works better on here. The paper's smoother and it's brighter, and I like it a little bit more. But you can tell the difference, I think, between even the same ink on different papers, which is kind of cool. Don't forget that there's 3 parts to every fountain pen experience: ink, paper, and pen. All right, so let's put it next to, here are the couple of other cool reds. There we go. On the left here, Robert Oster's Fire Engine Red, which is a beautiful red that I need to get another sample of because, well, I'm out of it, frankly. I used it up before I could even review it. And on the other side, franklin-christoph's Red 187, which is a very cool red, but it's got a little bit more of a, I don't know, it's a little bit more rosy. It's got more of a pinkish hue to it, just a little bit, than these two. This one's definitely a bit deeper, and it's got a little bit of sheen to it, as you would expect from a Robert Oster ink. Not a lot, but some. All right. Here is one that people forget about, I think, a lot, and these are underrated because they're a little bit on the expensive side, but Caran d'Ache Infrared is a beautiful red. I mean, look at this. You get this nice like streak of gold sheen through the middle. It's a cool ink. And then here, Roaring Cleaner Fernambuk, which you never really hear about that much either. These are a couple of underappreciated reds, I think. As I said, I love red. And I actually like both of these a bit better than I like this one, but that's only a matter of the hue. There's nothing special about the performance or anything, but they both look very cool. And you can probably tell which end of the red spectrum I end up on, which is kind of this more pure red. All right. Here's an Ackerman because we haven't had any Ackermans yet. This is Chinatown Red. You get a little bit of sheen in there as well. And here, Papier Plume's Cherry Red, which I haven't actually gotten to use yet. I've only got it in a swab, but it looks cool. I've got a sample somewhere, but I haven't gotten a chance to actually use the ink yet, but it looks very cool. All right. Here are a pair of inks that I think are kind of the same, actually. And that's a good thing because they're both beautiful. Sailor Aurori is one of my two favorite reds right now. And Sailor's Nipponia Nippon from Kingdom Note looks pretty much the same. It might not have quite as much sheen on these papers, or on this particular piece of paper, but you can definitely see that it's there, and it is a beautiful, like, sort of punch you right in the face sort of red. It's amazing. And this is really the red that I go to instead of this one. All right. Definitely check out Aurori if you haven't yet. Then here, we're getting to the end, I swear. Here are a pair, Bookbinder's Red Spitting Cobra, which is just too pale for me. I don't really care for this one much at all. It looks, I don't even know what that color is like, but it's more pink than red if you ask me. It's just too light. And then Kobe number 20, which I actually haven't gotten to use either, is another one of these bright, strong reds, and that's kind of what you expect from a good Sailor Red. And then here is one more. This one is for my mom. This is Kvitko Red. And you get these, this is actually her favorite red, but it's got a lot of mauve in it, if you ask me. It's a very dark maroony sort of red. Not exactly my cup of tea, but that's my mother's favorite ink for grading, and maybe her favorite ink total. I don't really know. But I asked her today if she still loved this, and she's like, yep. Have you found a replacement? And I said, nope. All right, so here are two that I actually only just swabbed tonight, which is a little embarrassing in one case. This one is Online's Rubin Red. And Rubin Red is a beautiful ink. In fact, I really like all of the online inks. Here's a quick online ink hit for you. If you can get it, and I hear they still make it, although it's impossible to find online because the company is called Online, they come in these adorable little bottles. Look at this. I got these from Jimmy at Total Office Supply, and these are really great. I've actually liked all the online inks that I've used, but look at this adorable little body. It's so cute. Or bottle, rather. Oh, body of the bottle. So there you go. But this is a very nice, rich red, too. And then here's my favorite red for grading and all that kind of jazz, and that is Schaefer's Script Red. So you can see which side of red I'm really into, and that's Schaefer and Aurori. These are my two that really stand out. And for some reason, the Kyo-Iro just hasn't caught me because it's kind of in the middle of those two. But still, beautiful red, and you should definitely check it out. You can find it in many vendors, but definitely check them out at andersonpens.com. At least get a sample if you're looking for that sort of thing. Ink samples are the way to go, if you ask me. If you're not sure about which ink you want exactly, get that one. All right. Man, look at the sheen on this guy. I've been using this ink for years, and it turns out I didn't have a word card from it, so I just had to do it tonight for this review. So there you go. Beautiful, beautiful red. All right, so that's it. This has been Kyo-Iro's Flaming Red of Fushimi. It was provided for me for review by Anderson Pens. Thank you so much, Anderson Pens, for sending that out. I really appreciate their generosity, and y'all go check them out. They have recently introduced free shipping over a certain amount of dollars, and it's getting close to when you'll need to get everything in for Christmas, so don't hesitate. All right, y'all, I will see y'all later. Thank you so much to my patrons and those of you who have sent me funds through the PayPal link at the bottom. You can find that in the description down there. Please do consider using one of those methods to help support the blog. It would be amazing, and I appreciate every single penny. So thank you very much, and y'all have a good night. Peace out.